The following Conscious Consumer Network recording of a live broadcast is available to purchase in high definition at ethymarket.com. Support free and independent media by becoming a CCN pledger. For €10 a month, you can have unlimited access to CCN high definition downloads at ethymarket.com. Ethymarket, the ethical marketplace for conscious consumers.
Hello and welcome to the One People Show. Hello and welcome everybody to the One People Roundtable for this week. Excuse me. We've had quite the job getting here this morning. Second crash in the last 10 seconds. So this is going to be interesting. And I literally have been awake for like 20 minutes. So good morning. Steve,
we're having. Hi, sweetheart. Are you awake? Are you caffeinated? I'm still drinking this morning's coffee. You can have a swig of my morning coffee. So I'm still drinking.
I got more coming. Third crash.
Okay. Oh, third crash. Awesome. So apparently today is going to be the technologically retarded day because my computer crashed so hard today we couldn't boot it back up until about an hour ago. And these crashes, site has just crashed. The stream's crashed 3 times. Yay, it's going to be one of those days. Awesome. And I have suckish internet, everyone. Sorry?
Yesterday. Yeah. 4 bit hours that we were online for. That's Steve. Incredible panel. Awesome discussion. A lot of really good information. Kind of left me in a spin for the rest of the day, trying to absorb it all. But the ultimate message that came out of yesterday's conversation was very empowering.
I can't hear you, Lisa.
Oh.
You just keep every so often it gets very mumbly, like you're talking like this. Yeah.
It was, just more affirmation of the message that being centered in self, getting out of your head, finding that love heart center and operating from there is pretty much the answer. And it just, no matter what the question, that seems to be the answer. Whether we're dealing with personal issues or AI, there's really nothing to be frightened of.
Yeah.
At all. Is the way I ended up feeling. But it's like there's nothing that we can't overcome and nothing to be fearful of.
It's going to take some work. I mean, I had a little bit of a hell day actually today, and makes you realize that you dig through the layers, and every time you think you've got through to the bottom layer, there's another layer underneath, and you go, oh, fuck, I got another one to work through. And you just keep digging, but it's just, it's a constant work in progress. And I think one of those thoughts that came to me last night was the fact of, I think we're all permanently works in progress. I don't think anyone can turn around and say, oh yeah, I'm done. I've got it all figured out. Yeah, no, I have a feeling that we're not supposed to get it all figured out, that we're all supposed to keep working through the process.
I think if you get to that point, you're no longer here anyway.
Yeah, that I'm not going to say you're wrong. Not going to say you're wrong on that one.
I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat room, at least from Harrison.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Oh, look, and we just crashed 4 times and 5 times. Okay, good. 5 crashes in 5 minutes. Nice. That's very symmetrical. I like it. It was an interesting night last night. And it was, with the time zone game, it was Lisa had the whole day to work through her stuff. And then we met up when I got up in the morning and had a big discussion about our different feelings and pieces that were coming to us, because we had a lot of enlightening moments about certain pieces of the conversation. And then, of course, she went to bed and I had the day to work through all my stuff and work through a lot of different thoughts. And it's interesting. There was hindsight, looking back, there was some interesting things that got brought up. And there was some interesting things, it was because we had this incredible group. I mean, everyone, I was saying to Nick, every single person brought something to the table that made me stop and think and go, oh, that's very, very interesting. Something, a really relevant piece. And there was stuff that I didn't agree with, didn't resonate. But that's the idea of doing one of these symposiums, is let everyone put their pieces on the table and let people figure out what resonates with them, what works for them, and what doesn't. And I think we're going to hear a lot more of this. I already got several more kind of geared up in our heads about, we're going to do one on this, we're going to do one on that, we'll have this person, this person, this person. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more of these coming. There was a couple of interesting things. One of the things that this morning, really suddenly, and you're muted, Lisa. Oh,
you went robo, that's all.
Me this morning was really, yeah, well, it's the high tourist road. So I don't know, maybe he's watching Game of Thrones or something on the internet, so no one else gets to have any. He is literally just down the road over here in his house. I just sidetracked. My day all day. I just showed you a very big piece of what my day was like today. No, one of the things that came to me was the topic of AI. And I kind of touched on it I talked a bit about this on Transpicuous News from the mainstream media angle. That it's come out of nowhere. Like, I mean, everyone knows about AI. It's been in movies. It comes in and out of the news here and there. But in the last 6-8 weeks, it's been hardcore in the news, like continuously in the news, in a lot of very interesting ways. And same with the alternative media. We talk about AI on and off for is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. You were saying that even in the alternative media, it's been prevalent, and that we've even talked about it.
Yeah, and we've talked about it, but all of a sudden in the last month, it's become one of the prime topics. It's like everyone's talking about it.
Well, it's like it's very much the same as the flat Earth thing. It just sort of exploded.
Exactly. And I had that thud moment where I went, this is just like the flat Earth stuff. Oh, wait a second. I need to stand back for a second and take a look at this. And we received a message from someone who talked about oh God, how do I say this? We received a message that was very, very positive about the show, and knowing where that message came from, I immediately stood back and went, oh, wait a second. If they really liked this, we must have fucked up somewhere. What did we do? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have this instant, wait a second, if they like it, I immediately suspect that we've missed something. Now, it's a huge topic, and we by no means covered the whole thing, even slightly. I mean, there were whole aspects of AI that we didn't even get into. But yeah, I had some very interesting revelations today about just different things, and kind of went, I'm going to have to look at some of this stuff again under maybe a finer tuned microscope. Yeah, but sorry?
Well, are you going to share any of these thoughts with me?
I shared some of them. I'm still working through. Well, I'll give you an example. There we go. Danny's just going to put it on the table for everyone because, fuck, that's what we do on the round table. So I had a hellish day today. I got up this morning. Everything was absolutely fine. I chatted with Biggie this morning about the symposium last night. Everything was fine. And Nick got up, I was talking, and then all of a sudden I didn't feel well. And it went very quickly from going that kind of like, oh, I don't feel very good, to, oh God, I feel really, really terrible. I have to go lie down right this second. And that hot that you and I keep talking about, the hot, huge heat flash, and I literally stripped off my clothes, threw myself on the bed with the fan on me, trying to cool off. I ended up actually getting up and going and standing under a cold shower to try and just bring my internal body temperature down. And then I talked to you, and we talked about a whole bunch of different things. And while I was talking to Lisa, the computer decided to just turn itself off. I wasn't even touching the keyboard. And I thought, well, you fucker, are you going to do like one of those automatic updates? I swear to God, I'll kill you. And I managed to stop it from doing the complete restart. And I said, I'm joking with Lisa, going, my computer just tried to turn itself off. What the hell? So we talk a little more, and we talk a little about our feelings about last night and different things that came to us. And then Lisa's tired. She's like, okay, I'm going to sleep. Like, awesome. Okay, I'll talk to you later on. I closed the Zoom room, which we use for communicating, and my computer turns off. And I'm like, what? And again, I'm not even touching it. What the hell's going on? And you do the whole thing. I come back inside. I'm checking all the power cords and everything, because my computer, it has no battery. It's basically a laptop, but it's a desktop because the battery doesn't work. Nothing. So I boot it up again. It's fine. Boots up completely normally. I start going into Skype to send Lily, Earth actually, a message who I wanted to get in touch with, and it turns itself off again. This 4 times. I go in and I actually start it and then reboot it to try and get it to go. And each time I'm going through this, it's like I'm getting hotter and hotter. I mean, it was hot today. It was like 44 degrees anyway, but I mean, I was where you get almost fever, where you're cold but hot. And I finally just gave up, and I couldn't get the computer to turn on at all. And I booted up one more time, and my eldest daughter said to me, Mommy, you look terrible. You should go lie down. So I said, yeah, I have to go lie down. I went and I laid down, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? And I started doing this kind of, you lay and you get into that nice, peaceful spot. And I just started really hyper-focused on, I am the only one in control of my mind. I am the only one in control of my body. I am the only one in control of my consciousness. That's the way it is. And I just kept really concentrating and doing inner work. And I started having like random pictures, random thoughts, and conversations jump in. And it was like, where the hell did that come from? Ridiculous stuff. Like all of a sudden a picture of a seashell on the seashore. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? So I kind of went through and I got myself to a calm, deep place. And I kind of was like, okay, I'm just going to let myself go to sleep for a while. Rested, slept for about 20 minutes, got up, felt all better. My computer is still running. I sit down at the computer, go to write Lily a message. My computer shuts itself off again. And it's just like, now I'm mad. Because now it's just like, okay, I don't know what the fuck is going on mention right now. I don't know what fucking timeline I'm on right now, but this is ridiculous. So I do what Danny does. When she gets mad, she cleans the house. And I spent like 3 hours in 44 degrees, like washing every floor, scrubbing toilets, all that stuff, ranting in my head saying, get your fucking act together. I don't know what the hell is going on with you today. Sort yourself out. And same thing, I had several moments where I had to stop because I just felt so sick, physically sick to my stomach, like I was going to throw up. And that's, I got to the point where I sent Lisa a message about 2 hours ago saying, I'm not going to make it on the show. I'm not going to make it. I'm exhausted. I'm so sick. I have to just go lay down. And then Lisa slept in.
I'm going to share what's been going on with me for the last few weeks too, because I want to see if anybody in the chat room talk to this and see if we're not alone here. So I'm going to go back to when American Kabuki published that phone call with Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I haven't had any kind of weirdness for a while. The day after I listened to that, I think it was. So, and it was a Friday because I listened to it on a Thursday after one of our shows. And I was driving back home from town. And I start getting this image, kind of like you, this random image pops into my head. And it feels like a memory. And it feels like a memory of me looking at my computer screen. And I can't remember what it is I was looking at. Like, it's not clear. And I'm thinking, have I forgotten? This is like, I'm trying to remember what it is I've forgotten. It was like trying to grab a scene from a dream and you can't quite grab it. And I'm thinking, this is something I'm supposed to do. I've gotten halfway through something and I haven't finished it, and I'm trying to grab this image. And the more I started to try and grab it, I started to feel like I was slipping mentally, like I was starting to go mad. Like the more I tried to grab it, the more reality was kind of slipping. It was a weird feeling. And then again, I got really, really hot. It's been winter. It was bloody cold. I had 3 layers on and a coat in my car. I had to pull over and start taking the layers off because this internal heat just went. Took all my layers off, and then I wasn't sure where I was going. It was like, shit, where am I heading? Oh, home. Now, at the time, only a few days, not even a week, I think, moved into here. And all the places I've stayed in over the last several months, cars and tents and warehouses and tree houses and all of these places are flashing through my head. And I'm trying to think of which one is now. And I'm not sure. And then this place pops into my head and I think, oh, that feels, yeah. And then so I start driving again. And then I'm not sure if I've passed it or not. And I eventually get really focused and I hone in and I get to this place. I walk in the door and it all feels completely weird, like I'm in the wrong place. I recognize it, but it's like I'm in the wrong place, wrong timeline. It's like, what the fuck am I doing living here? Where's my kids? Like, none of this is right. And it took me probably 20 minutes of some serious focus, like you just did, of I do not consent to any manipulation, any attempts at activation, tagging, blah, 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 blah. And I just rambled for like 20 minutes focused until it was like my reality solidified. It settled in. It started to feel firm and solid. I was like, oh, okay, that was weird. That was really weird. And now for the last probably week, I've been waking up. I don't know if it's at the same time every night, because when I'm in the middle of it, I don't think to look at my phone. The next day I go, God, I've got to look and see what time this is happening. But when it's happening, I don't think of it. It can be as cold as 5 or 6 degrees in my bedroom. Right. I wake up in the middle of the night, again with this internal heat. I'm completely overheating to the point of almost delirium. And I'm like, and I'm trying to wave myself with the sheets and all of that. And it takes me a few minutes to calm down enough to actually put the covers back on and go back to sleep. Last night was the first night in over a week that I woke up I was just hot. It wasn't that intense that it got to that delirium point. I was just hot. And I slept in. I must have slept, and I slept straight through my alarm, or I've turned it off or whatever, which I just don't do. Woke up like 20 minutes before the show was supposed to go live. There's been some funky stuff the last couple of 3 weeks, I guess. So I'm going to check the chat room and see if anybody relates to any of that.
And this kind of ties into the conversation Lisa and I had this morning, my morning, her night.
Just asking what part of the body is the heat coming from, and it's definitely the chest.
Chest. Oh yeah, it's the chest. It's like the whole chest is like internal fire. You're roasting inside your skin.
Yeah.
It's not external. Yeah, it's not like you're standing in the sunshine and 45 degrees, which I was also doing at one point. But no, it's like it's totally internal. Yeah, because I'd really actually like to discuss this a little bit. I got a quick message in with Duncan O'Finian a few days ago. What was that?
Linda said could be metaphors. No, this is not
no. Trust me. Yeah, no. Trust me, Lisa and I had this discussion. This is not hot flashes. We are of that age. Yes, we are. We can fully admit this. But no, that's not what this is. I don't know that our hormones can sync this far apart. Yeah, I managed to get for just brief over the weekend. And we played a little bit of tag, but we finally got to at least type chat a few minutes. And I said to him, dude, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the world's gone crazy. And he said, yeah, you have no fucking idea. It's seriously gone crazy. And he said to me, what's going on, like, with you? And I said to him, look, and I gave him, like, a couple of the pieces of, like, people around us are just, it's like people are losing their minds. And I said, and I'm getting messages from really good friends of ours who I know very well, who are talking about the same thing, saying like the downtown Manchester and watching people walk by, and it's like watching zombies just walk down the street. Like they're just complete. And he said to me, Duncan basically said, yeah, it's happening everywhere. A lot of very, very weird shit going on that I can't go into details right now. And he says it's about to get worse. I was like, oh, thanks, Duncan. Oh, great. It's going to get worse. Okay.
Jeff, hang on. Jeff asked the question in the chat room too. And this is something.
I think it's a Lily. I think Lily just plopped in.
Jeff just asked, is it your spirit fighting something off then? Is this a zing of excitement heat or propelling danger heat? And this is something I've thought of because of my Christmas Day experience, right? How that started was, in the morning getting those energy rushes. And then I went to have a lay down and I went to sleep. And at some point in that, I woke up in one of those overheated, but it was the clammy, sweaty overheating and total delirium as well. And that turns out that Christmas Day was in fact some kind of
takeover.
And that I've been wondering the same thing about what's been going on the last week, whether something is trying to attach itself or get involved. But now my spirit is able to actually fight it off because it's not getting a hold.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is because that was really one of the places I came to today. And I sit down, I have, what is that, Lily? Lily, are you playing the bongo drums with your microphone? Hi, Lily.
Hi, everybody.
All of a sudden I hear, no, I came to this place. I mean, I have my Nick. My Nick is my rock, who when I have to go through all this shit, he had to go out all day and do business crap all frickin' day in this broiling heat. And when he came back, I just downloaded on him. I was like, okay, this is all the shit that happened today. And then you try and put it like in categories, and you try and you look at all the angles. Okay, what is this? And it's like, okay, one topic of conversation last night, taking this into account, taking your and I conversation this morning into account, I was like, okay, and the fact that I was spending all day trying to get a hold of Lily because I wanted to reiterate some of what Lisa and I had discussed with Lily to get her opinion on a few things, energetically, so to speak, and my computer wouldn't work. And I couldn't get Skype messages out. And then I couldn't get onto Facebook. And then my computer, and this went on all day. And the way I was feeling, it was like, okay, is this some kind of an attack? Is this literally like to prevent me from saying what I want to say? Is that what it is? And then you go, okay, now you're fucking insane. Okay, now you're seriously, you've lost your marbles, because that's just ludicrous. But you keep coming back and you look at all these angles, and it was the same thing. Actually, Jeff, whoever it was who asked that about in the chat room, because that was one of the pieces I looked at was, okay, is there something trying to come in, and this is like me just literally fighting it off and saying, I don't fucking think so. Is that what these lovely, spectacular, ridiculous, I was just going to say spells. Oh yeah, spells. Is that what these spells are about? Isn't that funny how that word works in two different directions, isn't it? Yeah. Weird fucking shit, folks. Weird fucking shit. That's all I have to say. And yeah, as I said, everyone has to thank Nick, because the only reason I'm here tonight is because he basically, I'd already told Lisa, I'm not going to make it tonight. I'm done. I'm so exhausted. I'm so sick. I can't do it. Told Biggie I'm not coming on. And then 20 minutes before the show said, okay, fine, I'll do it. So everyone say thank you to Nick.
Thank you. The overheating of a night thing started the day I made my deposit to go and do the holographic kinetic course. Now, I know somebody else who did the course too, who was able to rid herself of something towards the end of the course. And that something didn't want her to do the course. And put one obstacle in front of the other for her before she went. Put her in a place where she really wasn't enjoying it the first 2 or 3 days and was going to quit, but pushed through. And then like on the fifth day or so, this thing came out, and she knew that that's the one that tried to prevent her from going through it. So it's even wondering whether it's connected to that. I've had experiences like that before. There was 20 or so Everyone said, oh, you're going to go and see this guy, he's awesome. And the day that I woke up to go and see him, after being completely fine, I woke up sick as a dog, so sick, dragged myself there. And the first thing he said when he opened the door to me, oh, someone didn't want you to come today. And he found something that was attached to my knee, you know, that had been there since I was a child, that had been attracted to the negative environment of my household when I was little. Nothing too big or dramatic or ugly, but just something that's been hanging around. And so I know that kind of thing can go on, you know, if they know that they're going to get exposed or removed or whatever, you know, they'll steer you down a path to make sure that doesn't happen if they can.
Oh, you know, sometimes life just gets too interesting. Lily, are you there, darling?
Well, to
Maybe
answer
not.
Karen's question, there's so much going on and it's so multi-layered, it takes more than one session.
I'm here.
Hi, Lily.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, sweetheart?
I am doing great.
Awesome.
Still very excited about last night's show. But Lisa, were you talking about me? Because I know you weren't, but my story is exactly the same as this friend you talk about.
Oh, really?
Kinetics. It was, I was like, wait a minute. That is like me, exactly what I went through. I mean, I was enjoying the course from the very beginning, but this thing that came out in almost the last day, the day before last, that was the one that didn't want to go. And that was the one that entered through a ritual 500 some lifetimes ago. And that was connected to this AI consciousness. And a very interesting situation there, because once I clear that at holographic kinetics, this is when the clarity.
Did we lose Lily, or did I lose everyone?
AI came to me in much clearer way. It's just there was clarity almost days after it. And that's the one that wouldn't leave, just wouldn't leave, which was very interesting. And I knew that this entity was trying to keep me from taking holographic kinetics course. So that's just my little part on that.
Actually, speaking of AI and Blue Avians and Sphere Alliance that we've also talked about, I was reading an article the other day, and I didn't realize this. It was the first time I'd seen it, that the Blue Avians, I think, yeah, were referred to as AI by the person who apparently channeled them. Because she said, and I copied and pasted this to you in a Skype conversation, so I might be able to find it.
To me or to Lily?
No, to you, too.
Well, Skype doesn't let me get messages now, so, you know.
When I was clearing this, it was the Blue Avian being. And right before I went to holographic kinetics in Earth Soul Group, we had a little discussion about how they look like. And somebody posted a picture there, and we had a little discussion about it. And when I was clearing this, you can actually, you practically there. So I had seen this being. It was a ceremony, and I was offered to it as an offering. And I was told that this is how goddesses are made. I was a young woman. And so this is how the goddesses are made. So this being comes through the pyramids, came through the cap of the pyramid, and it manifested. And it was a very tall, about 9-10 feet being, and it was a shadow being. So it has just like a black sort of shadow, but yet it's very sort of, you know, you can tell how it looks like. It had sort of a big head and everything. So that was it. And I was stepping on its toes right before I went to holographic kinetics. And right there, as soon as I cleared it, I knew exactly who it was. I knew it was a blue avian. And but I've cleared it, and that's the one that just wouldn't leave. And it took a couple of tries to get rid of that one, because that the ritual was during the life in Egypt, and it was a huge ritual. And that thing's been with me for over 500 lifetimes.
The article that I'm referring to was from a post called, or a website called Community Corner. And it said, the Blue Avians unite as one human family. Ute, Husiga, Rudel, dear friends, when the Blue Avians are contacting me, it happens in the heart as a warm, soft touch, and I recognize their presence. I am telling this because who could think of an AI creation that feels warm and would touch us directly in the heart? So I didn't realize that they were actually calling Blue Avians until that point an AI creation.
Is there any reference? Like, I even asked the chat room, like, has anyone in the chat room ever come across that reference? Because that's really interesting.
I didn't realize that they were. I mean, Corey Good, I suppose, how does Corey Good get his information? I thought he was supposedly talking directly to them or something.
Well, that's his thing, is that he apparently goes up to spaceships, or has been up to spaceships, and, you know.
I didn't know anybody was claiming to be channeling them. I need to get some power.
Quickly, before you lose all your power? Yeah. Life is just really kind of ridiculously interesting at the moment. Oh, I'll have to wait till Lisa gets back. Do you, because I know, Lily, you love symbology the way I love symbology. So something was done in New York City last night, and I have to share it with you guys, because it was like a, are you fucking kidding me moment when I saw this. I'm going to try and load up a picture here. Just hold on. Give me a quick second. Because this was literally I couldn't even believe this. Yeah, I can do it that way, I guess. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to come back here. We'll wait for Lisa to come back so she can see this too.
I can see and I can hear. I'm just running around. Okay.
I'm going to show you a picture from the newspaper. This is from the Times of India. So we're not talking about, some rag. This did go out on, Nick found it first, and it was posted on Facebook on a blog site. And then I went and tracked it down and actually found it in a newspaper article. So I know it's true. Ha, 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 ha. I found it in the newspaper. It must be true. Hold on. I'm going to pull up the screen share. Okay. Right. Are you ready for this? Apparently on August 10th, an artist painted the picture of the goddess Kali, projected it onto the Empire State Building.
Huh.
Now, no. Are you ready? I'll show you the other picture. Here we go. That is the picture. Here, I'm going to see. I can knock it up a size there so you guys can see it more clearly. Oh. This is the picture that some artist put on the front of the Empire State Building in New York, and apparently made a statement that you see that the wild animals, like Cecil the lion, needs a goddess to protect them. So he picked Kali, the destroyer, as you can tell by this lovely picture. And I sat there and was just like, because of course, if I don't know, if, I haven't really talked about this very much, but in Hindu tradition, in the old Hindu traditions, okay, the goddess Kali, as all the gods and goddesses have a dual nature, right? But she's also known as Kali the Destroyer. And there was a very, very banned sect in India that worshiped Kali, and it was all about basically human sacrifice, et cetera, et cetera. Right now, we are in the I don't want to say the era, that would be the wrong word to use. This time segment, this era that we are in right now is called the Kali Yuga by Indian tradition. And the Kali Yuga is basically the era of destruction and insanity, and when everything goes absolutely crazy. And there are many Indian historians, etc., and who are trying to work it out. And they've said that we are at the end of Kali Yuga is ending now, and that the new eon, I guess, is about to start. So I've been following that on and off for a few years, but when you see the picture of Kali on the Empire State Building, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's not Kali in one of her kinder disguises. Yeah, so I just thought I'd share that with you guys because, you know, symbology being what it is, I found that kind of interesting. I don't know about you. Yeah, Kali the Destroyer.
I'm feeling really torn right now.
Okay, right. Hit me.
I don't know whether to, because I don't do fear-mongering, and I don't want to do that, and
You don't do what? Sorry, I couldn't hear you, hon.
Fear-mongering.
Oh, fear-mongering, yes.
So I'm kind of torn. But at the same time, I don't know if I could live with myself if something did happen and...
Okay, just say it. Just fucking spit it out. Come on.
All right.
Everyone should know us by now that that's not what we're about. So,
a few years ago, 2011, 2012, a guy contacted me from here in Australia, and we used to chat quite a bit. And he was somebody who had a vision or a series of visions, experiences many years ago, 20 odd years ago. And he was shown exactly what was going to happen over the course of his lifetime, I guess. He said he saw 9/11. He saw a lot of things. And in the time that I was talking to him, he was able to say, watch out for this and this. And these things actually came to pass. I think one of them was the tsunami that hit. No, because that was before that. There was a couple of things anyway that made me go, no, okay, it was enough to listen to him and give him some credit.
Yeah.
Okay, put it that way. Anyway, he said they're going to detonate a nuclear bomb in New York. And when that goes off, you will have 30 days, I think he said. I will have 30 days to get off the coast. Then, so that's one of those things that stays with you. It stays in the back of your head.
It kind of stands out. You don't forget something like that.
Yeah. The other day on Facebook, I come across a little clip of a TV show that's been cancelled since, apparently. The whole thing's about detonating a nuclear weapon in New York. And it goes off. And in this TV show, they've got this device, Hadron Collider, that looks an awful lot like CERN, that is used. They're going to use it to try and go back in time to prevent the bomb from going off. If anyone knows, Jeff probably, if anyone knows, it'll be Jeff, what this TV show was. Yeah, okay, yeah. Rewind, it's called. So there's that. Then I get a message from somebody who is connected to the Black Project, Secret Space Program, all that sort of stuff, about 2 weeks ago, telling me that in 6 weeks, a month to a month and a half, the east coast of Australia is going to get hit with a wave. So I'm just clocking all of this stuff, and now
it doesn't help when you have a co-host who says things to you regularly, going like, "Okay, you know that Java's got 5 volcanoes exploding just north of you, and Papua New Guinea is like, could you please get off the coast?" No, I don't help. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't think nuclear is what we've been told, right? I think the whole nuclear thing is a bit of a scam as well. But the blast of a nuclear explosion is horrific. You know, I think the damage that was caused in Nagasaki and Hiroshima was from the blast itself. All the talk about nuclear radiation and all that, I'm not convinced of. But a blast like to that degree, and then they've put friggin' Kali on the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
And
you mean like Shiva the Destroyer statue standing in front of CERN?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. And did you know that there is a collider in New York State, just north of New York City?
No.
Yeah. There's a linear collider in Long Island too. Just saying. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking at all this, and honestly, I'd like everybody to get the hell out of New York, just in case.
Just like I'd like my co-host to please get off the fucking northern coast of Australia, please. Sorry, I don't like what's going on just north of you. It makes me nervous.
I'm fair way down the east coast, but
yeah, I know.
The east coast of Australia does have a shelf out in the ocean, but it's kind of unique, and I keep being told it would prevent a huge tsunami hitting the east coast. It wouldn't build up the depth in the ocean because of this shelf, this reef that's sort of right off the east coast. So Western Australia, that's a whole other story. Western Australia is flat. The entire third of this country, the western third of the country, is like one big flat suburb, and it's all at ocean level. You can take out the west coast, no problem. But the east coast is a bit different. So when I hear things like that, I take it all with a grain of salt. But you've got all this talk of September as well. Apparently Obama, according to somebody in the chat room, who said it? Betsy, apparently Obama said he's concerned about a nuclear bomb going off in New York. Okay, well, listen, the nuclear bomb going off in New York has been something that has been discussed through, I mean, I've been hearing about that through certain sources of mine for at least 3-4 years. That is something that has been rumored, that they plan on doing it as Nick says, Chicago. Look, it's all the movies. It's Chicago they blow up. And oh, there's a very, very big Hadron Collider in Chicago too. Just saying. Oh, and also Duncan Afunian, who's just been on the road and traveled, was in Texas. Oh, yes. He said he saw no military in Texas with Jade Helm, but over in Pennsylvania and New York, they're everywhere. That was the one thing. In a convoy. Yeah, and that's the one thing Duncan said. He did a video with Randy Moggins
oh God, it was a short video they did when he was staying with Randy, I think, July 5th. And he said, watch for the distraction. And it's so true. When he said it, I was like, oh, of course it's a distraction. Tell everyone that Jade Helm is happening way out on the West Coast. It's all over there. Everyone watch over there. Watch Texas, right? You know, everyone's got to watch, keep an eye on Texas, etc. In the meantime, he saw at one point one of the convoys. He saw, I think he said, one convoy going into New York State, and he said they saw 15 of these convoys in a matter of 2 days. So he said, if they're telling you to look over there for Jade Helm, the shit's actually happening on the East Coast. Now, as I said to Duncan, yeah, you know, the destroyer, the Navy destroyer that had the little accident whoopsie is an exact match. And I think I talked about this last week of a whoopsie that happened back in 2012, right before Hurricane Sandy. And at the time, I had really good Pentagon connections who decidedly would not respond to my questions about it, and literally did that. We have no comment at this time, which tells me all I need to know.
We can look at 9/11 and sort of learn from that.
Yep.
The stuff that went down around the Twin Towers, you know, the change of insurance, you know, the bits and pieces
Yeah.
leading up to it. And they've just recently moved the federal building to Chicago out of right? So maybe people want to look at what changes are going on in and around New York.
Oh, you mean like JP Morgan Chase selling their gold vaults in Wall Street last year? And like the fact that they are now moving massive, and have been over the last year, moving massive amounts of gold out of Wall Street? Oh, wait a second, I hadn't even put that together. Oh, that's interesting.
Is there an exodus of those in the know from New York, from Manhattan?
Well, if you look at it, I mean, we had the train accident, 2 of them, that had bankers involved. We have had how many bike accidents, you know, accidentally fell off his 30th floor balcony. I don't know. It's kind of interesting though. I hadn't put together with the gold vault. The moving of the gold vault shit is actually a really important piece in this, because JP Morgan Chase had the largest gold vault outside of the Federal Reserve.
Okay, there's lots going on in the chat room, lots of information being shared.
What's going on? Tell us, because I can't look at the chat room, unfortunately.
Self protects Tassie. Okay, probably the fringes. They wouldn't move the Federal Reserve building to Chicago yet. Oh, someone's posted the Omens of Days Ahead, the Duncan clip.
Yep.
Just quick.
What was that, Lily?
There's been a lot of activity with the helicopters and stuff. I live near Colorado Springs, and so there's a lot of activity there as well. Yeah.
Well, Colorado is an interesting place, right? And it's one of those things where you've got Denver, Colorado, who we all know about, and the fact that they just reopened Cheyenne Mountain again after closing it all down purportedly.
Yes, a lot of helicopters going in and out.
Very interesting.
If I remember correctly, and don't quote me because I'm going to have to track him down and talk to him and confirm. But I think this guy that I used to talk to said that New York wouldn't be the only one. There might be a few, like at least one on each coast, perhaps one in the middle as well. But I'll have to confirm. But they're going to. I have a feeling that's what he said. So stay tuned because I will track him down. I will have a conversation with him and I'll see what he thinks now. But he was convinced that things were going to get ugly before they got better. there's signs that they're up to something when it comes to New York.
With the CERN doing what it's doing, CERN is a replacement of the pyramid system. So it's a harvesting tool and a matrix installation tool, I guess, system. So with that, just like in pyramids, when they did that, there's a lot of blood sacrifice that need to happen. When they really sort of gonna try to do the punch, what that needs to happen is with blood sacrifice. So in one of my previous videos, I talk about that they might be trying this in September, October, do a sort of everything at once and see if they can get the results that way. So when certain thing is happening and they're trying, we have to watch out for other things that are of that nature, meaning blood sacrifice. Because this consciousness
well, I mean,
that is trying to take over,
and Duncan actually talked about
this
video.
This is the matrix guard change. So the guards that are coming in
Lily, we're not getting you.
Take over the matrix of blood sacrifice.
We're not getting you, Lily. I can get it.
Lily, you're really breaking up.
Can you hear me now? I need to put my microphone. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you were just breaking up really, really badly.
Yeah, I am sorry because I am on my phone. So that's probably why. My phone connection's usually bad.
Okay, can you go back to what you were saying about the blood sacrifice aspect, because we missed that completely.
Can you hear? The final punch for CERN was...
Did we lose Lily, or did we lose me?
No, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, I never know anymore. Is it me?
Will require blood sacrifice that they might try to do it. Did you hear me?
No, not really. It's funny, every time you talk about CERN, it's okay, Lily, because we have experience with this when we had tried to have this conversation with Duncan, remember? Every time he tried to talk about CERN and blood sacrifices, he'd all of a sudden go robotic. It's so funny how it works that way.
Okay, don't say the word CERN and, and don't you say the word blood and try and get through the sentence, because we already know that's what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, just don't say the word blood. That's right. Well, are you there, Lily?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. You're gonna, I'm sorry, darling.
We have to remember.
Yeah.
We have to remember that CERN is the modern pyramid system. And we know from history a little bit that when there is a change of guard with the matrix system, there is blood sacrifices that are happening at pyramids. That's what we know from history. So CERN is a modern pyramid system on the planet, and it requires a blood sacrifice for it to work.
Oh, I just had an interesting thought. Who's going to be in New York in September giving a special sermon, purportedly a non-denominational sermon, at the site of the World Trade Center, one of the former blood sacrifice sites? You know the one that has got the big pit cut out now, and it's got like what looks an awful lot like an altar sitting right smack in the middle of it? Is that where he's doing this sermon? Huh. Because if you're going to do ritual, you're going to do ritual, aren't you, Lily?
Exactly. And there is rituals going on in preparation for that right now everywhere. And what they're placing on the building, that's part of the ritual as well.
It had, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh God, that is just not subtle. Like, seriously, that's so not subtle.
Happening right now is crazy. And the blood sacrifice that requires for all of this system to work, it's got to be a huge ritual. So there is a ritual happening in New York, and some rituals take time. It doesn't just happen in 1 hour or so. So there is rituals everywhere right now in preparation for this big one. And so you got something there, Dee, with that.
Can someone in the chat room? I just wanted to know if someone in the chat room, or Jeff, if you can look up quickly, what date does the fourth blood moon fall on? Just shits and giggles. I haven't actually looked it up. I know it's right there towards the end of September, but you know, shits and giggles.
I mean, nothing's going to go down while the Pope's actually there, unless he's part of the circle.
No, of course not.
But he did say, in his own words, I won't be Pope for long.
I won't be Pope for long.
Now, the other thing is, apparently you cannot retire. You cannot retire.
Yes, exactly.
Ratzinger is still the head.
Yep.
This guy.
Ratzinger is still the head.
This guy is just a stand-in for now. And if
Two
he
popes.
Goes, Ratzinger, 2 popes, first time ever.
Yep.
Is he a sacrifice?
Oh, ladies, I think they might.
Oh, because would that not galvanize the world to do some pretty crazy shit if the Pope was all of a sudden taken down in a nuclear blast in New York City? No, because we're talking about a nuclear bomb.
I have some thoughts on that.
Oh, wait, hold on. You guys talk. Nick's got a message for me.
Okay, this is this is interesting. September 28th is the blood moon, yeah? They're planning on shutting down the city of Philadelphia in September 25th through to the 28th. Why Philadelphia? He's not going anywhere near there, is he? The Pope's not going near Philly, is he, Jeff? He is, okay. Well, that would be an interesting, let's think about the repercussions of something like that. The Pope, the head of the Catholic Church, the one who's been talking about and building up the whole we need to come together, one world, one currency stuff, if he's the one who goes. Oh, okay. Oh, conversations like this do my head. Okay. What, Dee? Hit me.
I'm back. It's really, really funny because, of course, I'm on a headset now because, you know, everyone insisted I had to have a headset. Well, now Nick can't listen to the shows as I'm doing them. So he only gets the one side of the conversation, and he just put together exactly what your friend told you was going to happen. How it can't just be in New York. It'll be New York. It'll be the West Coast, and it'll be somewhere in the middle, probably Chicago. So I'm just laughing, going, "Yeah, that's exactly what Lisa just said," but he can't hear you.
Okay, so I'm just trying to think of what the implications would be if they did take the Pope out.
Well,
What would the world's reaction. I mean, this is the guy that's been talking about one world currency, one world debt forgiveness. I mean, this is this guy.
You martyr him and then put forward his vision. His vision
Yes,
for
and
the
everybody
world.
will support it.
Well, you know what? The ISO
People will
renaming
feel
is
so bad.
exactly. You'd have I'll bet you, first of all, you'd probably have a shitload of people come back to the Catholic Church, which is, the big advertising campaign right now anyway. You would have a public outcry, and you have to think about something that would galvanize all the Catholic-based countries together. That would kind of be it. I.e., you tie up a good portion of South America, wouldn't you?
Blame it on the Middle East. We're sure that the soldiers of Rome in the fucking.
Yeah. Oh, and if it was blamed on the Middle East, which we're getting the bits of saber rattling that have come out, little bits of mainstream media talking about the tie-in of Saudi Arabia to 9/11. If they were to blame it on the Middle East, there would be your forces of Rome marching on into the Middle East, which is one of the prophecy pieces.
Yeah. They will have no sort of problems installing their one world order.
Okay, I just.
But it is definitely on the table. It is definitely there, up their sleeve.
Okay, I have a question. I'm not sure how this plays, but this popped into my head, so I'm just going to say it. This whole Kali on the Empire State Building, well, back in March, some bright idea artist, it was when the last Hobbit movie came out, decided that they were going to light up the tallest size skyscraper in Moscow with the Eye of Sauron.
Oh, yes.
And I was just like, seriously, you're shitting me. You're going to put a giant Eye of Sauron on the top of the skyscraper in Moscow because, no one's going to take that poorly. And the report came out 4 days before it was going to happen. And the day of this is supposed to happen, this big thing was like, oh, it's been canceled because basically the Orthodox Church in Russia was like, I don't fucking think you're putting the eye of the devil on the building. And I'm like, duh, really? Now, but here's interesting. Who just had a meeting with the Pope for 4 hours a month and a half ago? Putin. The Pope has also been rumored to be having meetings with the Russian Orthodox Church leaders, which they have been completely estranged from each other for at least 100 years, if not more. And now all of a sudden things are kind of getting like, oh, okay, well, maybe we can. So, well, I'm just wondering, like, was perhaps a setup going to happen to make something happen in Russia? And an arrangement has been made, like they kind of came to the table and cut a deal and said, no, we're not going to do it in Russia. No, let's do it in New York City. I don't know. It just popped into my head. The fact the whole Eye of Sauron and the Kali, it's symbols of the same thing, really.
Mm. There's a couple of comments and answers and stuff going on in the chat room too.
Okay.
Lee, who lives on the east coast of Australia as well, said that she's been observing for 6 weeks or so that the low tide is way further out every day than usual. And they've actually wondered whether or not it's building up to a tsunami.
Oh.
Philly is the Masonic center of the US.
Yeah.
The Hoover Dam sacrifice, ISIS breaks her water, or it dries out completely. There has been 2 popes before. The Western Great Schism began on September 20th.
Yes.
Even date again, in 1378, with the election of Clement VII in Avignon, France. He was the second pope elected by the same College of Cardinals in 6 months, and for the first time in history, there were 2 legitimate claimants to the head of the Church of Rome.
Yeah.
The Pope prophecy, as far as I know, Dave, is the Malachi prophecy, and the last Pope is referred to as Peter the Roman.
Peter the Roman?
Peter the Roman. The Black Pope is the head of the Jesuits. There are all, there's the what they call the White Pope, which is the one that we see, the public one, and then there's the Black Pope, who is the head of the Jesuits, who is supposedly the boss of the White Pope.
You know, we had I can't remember who I had the discussion with about the whole thing. If Benedict if Benedict is still Ratface, still the Pope, if something happens to Pope Francis, since he's still the Pope, he'd be back in. He'd have to be put back in. Would he take a new name? Because technically he's retired that name, right, of Benedict. So would he take a new name? Anyone want to take bets on whether he's going to take the name Peter? Anyone?
Yeah. I mean, they are saying, they do say that Francis, I mean, it's a stretch. They do say that Francis fits the description of Peter the Roman, because, now I've got to remember this, because he originally is Italian. His parents were Italian.
Yeah.
And the name he took of Francis, I think St. Francis
Assisi,
there's a connection there with the name Peter. So it's a leap, but they've made it fit. But if technically he's not technically one of the popes,
then is he a sacrifice?
Yeah. Is that why Ratzinger?
You think what a PR campaign he's been doing this whole time, this huge PR campaign, more than any other pope ever. I mean, this guy is all about the PR, and this guy's all about apparently traveling every fucking week to a new country and making sermons and statements that are seriously heavy duty. So if he's the sacrifice, you'd have to have, yeah, it's very interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way before. That is interesting, folks.
And also, Maurice has just said, but remember that is their plan. There's another plan in play.
Yep.
We constantly talk about, that Lily talks about. Now, Lily, I do know that you say that they are going to continue to try and implement their timeline. So if this is part of it, if something like this is part of it, where do we and the planet fit in?
We just have to keep revealing, because once we reveal, this does the most damage to their plans. It's when you say, okay, well, this is how it might look like, and this is their plan. That does the biggest damage to them, to their plans, because then they have to go back and redo the plans.
Well, that's kind of what we were saying the other week on the show last week, that, you know, these discussions are about shining a light on them. And it's like saying, we see you, hello, and changing the energy around it, or at least for those who participate in the show. It'd be nice to think that all we have to do is call them out on their stuff and they have to change their plans.
Yes, it actually works best.
Well, it's an energetic deflation, if nothing else, right? Yeah, it's an energetic deflation. If you poke little holes in their big trumped up, blown up balloon.
Well, it's just a big magic trick.
Yeah.
And if you stand up the front of
and you tell them how they're doing it,
tell them how they're doing it, the magic is no longer magic.
Exactly. It's just really bad sleight of hand.
Yes. I had a feeling that they might do this, and when I realized that Pope is coming to America for this time in September, America has also been called as a sacrifice country, that they were eventually planning to sacrifice.
Yep.
So those sort of dots kind of connected for me, and I thought, well, they go for it, you know, but they're so desperate that they might. And there's people like Pope, I mean, they already know that they don't own their bodies, and they'll agree to it. They can't say no because it's for the greater good. But it's not for the greater good of people. It's for the greater good of the agenda, the cabal's agenda. And if it works for the greater good of the control system, they don't care. They don't have compassion. They're all possessed by these beings that are compassionless. So they don't care what it takes and how many people it takes, you know, to kill or sacrifice to get their way. And just imagine people, Catholics or non-Catholics, how first the trauma to Catholics, and then, you know, all the feeling sorry for, you know, Pope, and he was so nice and everything. And I mean, they'll get humanity where they need them to be, traumatized and wanting a payback. And there you have it. You have a war or whatever they need to get. I mean,
that's the PR work, right? Like you just said, it doesn't matter whether you're Catholic or not. Everyone, I've actually heard New Age community people literally going like, oh, he's such a kind man. Oh, he says all these wonderful things. And people who are very anti-Catholic are actually turning around and going, you know, he says these kind of nice things. He says all these nice things. Sorry, Nick is making me laugh. Stop that. So, yeah, I mean, he's a really lovable guy. Yeah, and you know.
So all the community, that feeling that they're alien or connected to aliens and all of this stuff, they're going to be in that too. I mean, he pretty much covered everybody.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because the whole pile of the New Age community are saying like, you know, yeah, he's like, he's one of these ascended master or some such bullshit. I don't know. I don't read this shit, but you know, he's a good guy. He's a walk-in. You'd pull all them in too.
ETs, remember?
What?
He's going to baptize the ETs when they turn up.
Oh, that's right. He's going to baptize the ETs when they turn up. That's right. I'd forgotten that. Okay, you just made Nick laugh so hard he's going to fall on the floor.
He kind of has covered everybody. I mean, he's rallied people in a way that Ratzinger just couldn't. Because, I mean, Ratzinger just pours evil out of his pores. This guy has brought out a more tolerant, gentle side of people towards the Catholic Church, for sure.
And, well, not only that, his whole revolution speech. I mean, I talked about this on Removing the Shackles a few weeks back and said, like, this man is in South America, the whole way of his trip through South America, he was inciting revolution. So now not only are you also going to get, like you say, all the ET lovers and all the Catholics and all these other, but you're also going to end up all these kind of patriots, all these ones who are like your Occupy Wall Street, all these people who are all about, you know, protesting, et cetera, and the unfairness, and yes, anti-Wall Street and the capitalists and oh, blah, blah. You're going to pull them all in too. Oh, what a good plan. Oh, it's diabolical. Oh, I'm so glad we poked a hole in this one.
Well, the thing is,
okay.
If it doesn't happen, we'll never know whether it's because, you know, we shone a light on it or because we were way off. We'll just never know.
I don't know. I've been entertained. Is everyone in the chat room, everyone else entertained? I thought it was a fun discussion. Connect the dots. We do what we can. Never said we were right. Never said we had the answers. Just doing what we can.
But it's an interesting premise, and you know, because I think there's
Chasing probability.
pointing towards it.
Chasing probability. That's what Nick just said.
Yeah. Jeff, I'm sure you've got something else to say on this subject. You've got your finger on every pulse out there, knowing what's going on.
Okay, well, here's the other little piece that might just fall into this. Sorry, I'm just going to jump in here. Is this has come up multiple times over the last 3 years with various insiders that I've spoken to, and again, just got a report again that basically the entire east and west coasts are surrounded with foreign military. Canada, down Mexico way, et cetera, et cetera. If they know there's going to be something major happen, is that why they're sitting there? Or are they there to try and stop it from happening? Interesting.
Military don't know what they're, why they're there. They're just told to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Very few people on the top that know why they're there. So
I don't feel like it's to stop anything from happening, because if anything's going to go down in the US, it's not going to come from outside the US. It's going down inside the US.
Yeah.
And it's coming from within. So hanging around the borders is going to do bugger all. I'd be looking more at what's going on inside than and what we're seeing is all of this military movement on the East Coast. East Coast.
Both coasts. I mean, right. I mean, external military, like other countries' militaries. So I don't know. Interesting stuff, but it's, like I said, my head has been telling for a long time, just people need to be prepared for whatever happens. You know, we all hope nothing happens. We all, you know, pray nothing happens, but
there's a Pope on a rope joke going on in the chat room.
Okay, Pope on a rope jokes. Oh, awesome.
Only in Mississippi.
Only in Mississippi. Oh, that was bad. That was really bad. Yeah, do you realize we've only got like 25 minutes left already?
Wow, that was quick.
I know, I just looked at the time, went, what have we been talking for, like 40, 45 minutes? Oh, an hour and a half. Okay, wow, that went really fast. Yeah, people need to
This whole conversation was actually a side note. This whole conversation that we've had kind of is not where we were going. Although I'm glad we went down that road.
Yeah.
And I will endeavour to do what I can to find out, track down this guy and have another chat to him. See what he says. But either we can, or maybe this is a good thing for us to do on our first collective imagination show, is really, really come together and collectively blow the wind out of this particular plan. Okay, thoughts tomorrow.
I'd like to revisit something we started off at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the conversation you and I had my morning here, nighttime, this morning. And we talked about, because you brought it up, at the end of the symposium last night, towards the end, you asked the question to the panel and said, well, because we're talking about Morgellons and symptoms and all this thing, and you brought up the whole ascension symptoms versus Morgellon symptoms. And you basically asked, okay, were the ascension symptoms brought up to hide the Morgellon symptoms? Like basically, right? And I actually want to address this. I wanted to get into it last night, but we were already so late. I was like, oh, this is another whole huge topic. This is not the moment. It's 2:00 in the morning. Because I've had multiple conversations with people on this topic since like 2011. And the one thing I've actually said is my gut feeling is the complete reverse. That it is a lot of the Morgellons, let me rephrase this. A lot of the physical symptoms that are given to Morgellons are actually done that way to hide the fact that they're, what do you want to call them? Energetic symptoms. Well, yeah, let's not use the A word. Come on, we don't want to use the A word.
What everybody knows.
But yeah, like to hide these upgrades. Do you want to call them upgrades? DNA activation, energetic symptoms, frequencies.
Apart from actually pulling bits of crystal and fiber out of your skin.
Yeah.
That clearly.
Yes.
Are you talking about even that?
No, not that. See, this is the whole thing. When I look at this, and I've done a serious crash course in Morgellons. I mean, I've read everything I can find on it from all extremes and all angles. The physical symptoms, i.e. that this is a foreign nanotechnology, a foreign fiber, yes, I completely agree. What I disagree with is a lot of the other symptoms that are tied in with it. So for example, like we say, there's this almost 100% crossover between the two. Like you could do a call up and do a list. I did a list way back in 2012 of ascension symptoms. And I ran through a pile of them. And you can pull up a list of Morgellons symptoms and you can put them side to side and they are literally the exact same. Heart palpitations, hot flashes, oh God, dizzy spells, all of us, your eyes changing and not, your ears changing and not hearing, all these things. And I actually think it's the opposite. Like I said, from what they were talking about last night, is that the Morgellons symptoms have been placed on that to cover it, to hide, because let's face it, there's a lot more people out there nowadays who are aware of and believe in Morgellons than there are people who are aware of and agree in, ascension type symptoms. So I just find it very, very interesting because there's certain, and like I say, we can only go by our gut, right? What do you think, Lily?
Very interesting subject. Yes, you're absolutely right. Ascension symptoms are an integration or a simulation of nanotechnology. Because was supposed to come from the outside source. The ascension is supposed to come from outside source. Remember all the talk in ascension communities about having higher frequency that's coming from outside and you're assimilating your light bodies to it and everything like that. That's what it was, but it wasn't really, there is no such a thing as ascension in the way we were.
Exactly.
It's the takeover of our bodies and activation of our DNA is exactly what Harold talked about yesterday, that it is that RNA, that new part of the nanotechnology that we didn't know much about, that actually goes into your DNA and takes over your DNA. That's what DNA activation was in the ascension community. That's what they thought. This is all the lies about what it really was.
Right. But
so can I just ask then, from your perspective, staying with the planet and moving through all of this with the planet, are people going to experience physical symptoms?
We will, but most of it will be emotional clearing. And there is some physical symptoms when you, because your body first, you know, you clear it and you heal it, and then your body has to adjust to your healthy spirit. And like I said one time here before, everything that is good for us will actually come from within. Everything that's coming from without us, into us, from somewhere else, is there to take us over.
See,
it's
here's the thing, Lily, because this is where I have a disconnect on this. Because for me, oh God, how do you come up with the language to describe these freaking conversations? As the planet energetically goes through changes, I see that, and I hate using the term DNA activation because it is a term that has been completely co-opted by that ascension, galactic ET whole mindset. But our latent DNA is there, and there's so many reports and different things coming out talking about our latent DNA coming back online, not appearing, not being fixed, not being added to, but basically our original DNA. And this kind of goes into the conversation that I had with you yesterday, Lily, when we were talking about my dream sequence that I had the other night. The
Yes.
little old man, the little old woman, that DNA that we have. And to me, it seems to me that as we go through and we are progressing, there are symptoms. And there are certain symptoms, and this is one of those things that I look at and I go, you know what? There are certain symptoms I feel that maybe they may be uncomfortable in the moment, but they've never felt bad. They've never felt wrong. They've never felt external. Maybe that's the best way to put it. And I associate that with those shifts that we're going through in consciousness and shifts in our own DNA that coincide with whatever the planet is going through.
Exactly, because
and that's the difficulty of language when we're dealing with co-opted terms, right? You've got to so clearly define the difference.
Yes, that's why we need to heal the language, because our language in itself, it has dualistic meaning, and what it does is actually there is no term that we can use in this language that will describe that what we are going through, back to the ancient original Earth timeline DNA. This is what we're going back to. This is us healing from within, and those of us that been here, especially for the original timeline. This is what we're doing. We're in a way activating our DNA, our ancient DNA.
Okay, well, how about this? How about instead of calling it activating, we say returning to?
Exactly, that's a good one.
Make a very distinct difference. This is returning to our original DNA, not activating, God knows DNA that they've added or anything else. Just returning to that original DNA.
Exactly.
And there's bound to be symptoms that go along with that. There has to be.
I'm sorry?
Say again, Lisa.
There's bound to be symptoms that go along with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I mean, actually, this is a conversation we had a while ago, the three of us, and we talked about the symptoms of the planet, what the planet is going through symptomatically. Symptomatically, things else.
Yes.
If you look at it purely as symptoms. What? Sorry, love?
I said, say that last bit again. You went completely robo. The planet herself is going through.
the planet herself is going through symptoms of what she is going through right now as an so to speak, physically, and so we are as well. As you know, whether you deal with, call it expansion, whether you call it even just, I mean, I kind of laughed when someone made the comment, I don't even remember where I heard this from now, about the fact of, you know, like the planet's got a fever because it's got a virus and it's working on curing the bacterial virus type thing. So it's got this fever right now, which is all the earthquakes and volcanoes and different things that are going off. Well, then we're going to have symptoms ourselves because we are tied to her, right?
Exactly. And she is healing herself. And there is, you know, she was very infected. And so that infection has to burn up and come up. And so same thing with us, you know, we're going to be feeling some things. And like with you, I mean, shit's coming out of your skin.
Yeah.
That's your body, you know, healing the cancer or pushing it out, the cancerous sort of energy out, all of it, and little by little by little. And the planet is doing kind of gently, you know, she is expanding, and it's been, you know, it hasn't like happened all at once. She's doing as gently as she can. And so are we. And that's why, you know, getting ourselves into that healthy state so our bodies can do exactly the same is also a good idea. But what I'm trying to say is that we have to redefine all these terms because we really don't have them. Because the language that we use is this sick, you know, inorganic language. And so we have to redefine it and heal it as well. And this is why a lot of things sound similar when we try to talk about them. But this is what I'm trying to say, that we should look at energy of it, something. It's like as simple as that. When you thirsty, you drink the water because you need hydration from within. You know, you don't just go and throw a glass of water on your face when you're thirsty. The planet is healing from within. She's got to, you know, get rid of all this virus, as you said, and she's going to do it from within. Her body's going to do it. So everything that healing process that we humanity need is going to come from within the planet. This is why even the wave, you know, you were asking about the wave X, you know, there is sort of a wave that's coming from the core of the planet. It's been coming, and those that have been open to it have been
receiving it.
Receiving it. But when you have this, you know, same sort of using same words, but it's coming from somewhere outside that's going to activate your DNA, well, that's very different than you're receiving the frequency from the planet, the healing frequency that she's going through, and you're healing your DNA, returning to the original organic timeline. So it sounds very similar, but it's two very different things.
Absolutely. And the same thing, this is, last night I really wanted to get into the definitions of AI. And we kind of touched, but we didn't really. And the problem is, again, you need new words, because what AI means different things to different people. And like I said, there were aspects of AI that we didn't even get into last night. Even things, with so many words that have been co-opted and twisted to mean something different. And that's why I keep going back to, and Lisa will laugh because I've been going on about this for like a year and a half. We need to change the words. If you have a word that is been co-opted For me, because of Gaia's Garden and the products that I do, what are the big words? Organic, natural, pure. Those words have all been co-opted. They now mean, literally, legally mean something different from what you think they mean. Because they don't mean the same thing anymore because they've legally changed the definition. Well, this isn't just, I mean, that's just 3 little examples, organic, natural, and pure. But this is across the board. In our entire language is full of these words. And it's kind of like, I think it was said last night, so we was talking about the whole fact of our language is full of spells that have double meanings. So we need to change it.
I want to ask Lily,
language.
Well, we've got it for the last few minutes. You and I, Lily, Dee and I have talked forever about this process that we're going through, the planet's going through. And we both believe that the sun is playing a part. The relationship between the earth and the sun, or the sun itself, does have a role to play in all of this.
Yeah.
We both feel that very strongly. Now,
Yes.
whether it's because they're playing off one another.
I have a little video about that. When I talk about the matrix system, and then I talk what sun is, what my understanding of sun. Sun is externalization of our internal core, of our planetary core. It is an externalization of it.
A mirror, a reflection, you mean?
Yeah, like a holographic reflection that is organic, external sun.
Okay.
And they have this energy exchange.
Yeah.
That
It's symbiotic.
It's symbiotic, yes. It goes back and forth. This is that original sort of the infinity symbol that was turned into the number 8. That is the energy flows from internal to external. And this is how our planet, communicates.
Sorry, that's really funny because there was a period a few months ago where there was a lot of sun activity that was coinciding with events here on the planet. And all the talk was the sun was causing all of this. But we had a show and I was sort of talking to Dan, I went, it feels to me like the stuff going on the planet is happening first. The sun is reacting.
Exactly.
Reflecting it back.
Well, when they first fired up CERN back in, it was one of the big months, early May, that was the thing. And we've watched the day that they fired up CERN is the day that I had the conversation with this friend of ours and about her son. And we all had those weird things happen to us, whether it was in dreams, whether it was in daily activity. And I went and looked at the magnetopause of the Earth. And the magnetopause of the Earth just went absolutely freaking haywire during this time that CERN was initially being fired up. And of course, the magnetopause also directly reacts to the stuff with the sun as well. And that's to say, like your mirror back and forth, that infinity 8, right? That's exactly it.
I still think that at this time, probably always has been, that sun gazing is highly beneficial. There's an energy, a frequency, and it's getting so totally encoded with information that comes from the sun that getting that dose every morning or evening, wherever you are, whatever's easier, is highly beneficial. Super important. And we get back to that vitamin D thing too.
It plays such a massive role. And I, unfortunately, for the last 2 weeks, again, I have been so sidetracked on so many other things. I need to go back to the work I was doing on with the vitamin D stuff, because it is vital. I just know it's like right here. And I've said this for 30 years. I have said to people, don't put the fucking sunscreen on. you don't understand. The sunscreen is toxic. It is bad for you. Now, at the time, I didn't understand the the other ramifications of vitamin D, et cetera, et cetera. It's only been kind of that hindsight when I've looked back at my whole life. It's like, I won't wear sunglasses. I've had occasionally a pair, and I use them to hold my hair back. They make a wonderful hairband to hold your hair back. That's what I use them for. And I will not wear sunscreen. And I've never, ever worn sunscreen. It's the few times I've put it on, it's like, oh, this is so disgusting. I can't. And it's been a driving force. And I've talked to people about it when I had my informed parenting site up for years. I used to say this: your children need the sun. Stop coating them in sunscreen. Let them go out without a hat on their heads. Let them get in the sunshine. It doesn't mean be stupid and get a sunburn, because that's just stupid. But it is so vital. And the study that I'm doing right now showing that the skin is the second endocrine system. And the melanin in your skin and the vitamin D is the daytime hormone, and the melatonin in your brain, which is triggered through sun in your eyes, is the nighttime hormone. And if you don't have them in balance, the two endocrine systems, you have all kinds of fucking mess. And when we already have like a totally fucked up pineal gland as it is, you kind of need the balance as much as you can. But anyways, yes, I'm going off on one, and we only have 3 minutes left. Biggie's tapping his toes on us.
Well, it's time to start saying thank you and goodbye, but chat room, you guys rock. There's so much good information shared in there, and comments and insights and links and conversation. So awesome. Thank you.
Shukran bizef. Shukran bizef. See, I'm practicing my Moroccan.
Yeah, well, good for you. Tomorrow, the return of the collective imagination.
Yes.
Same time, same bat channel. Let's have some fun. Back with Barbara, my original host and co-founder of the collective imagination. So we're gonna have some fun together. So please join us. Lily, thank you. Jeff, thank you. Biggie, thank you. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'll see you all on Sunday. And that's it. We're done. We're out of here. Bye, everyone.
If you really had to make a difference on a large scale with minimal resources, how would you go about it? Have you ever dared to dream of doing that which seems impossible? On a planet steeped with corruption and destruction, the question beckons, how do we change it? Media has a far-reaching impact on people and has been used to manipulate humanity into our current destructive patterns. In order to affect people into moving into constructive patterns of behavior, we need to construct a new paradigm of media. Conscious Consumer Network has been created with the explicit intention of giving the amazing truth-seeking, solutions-orientated, alternative media a place to fully realize their true potential with a cutting-edge, high-tech professional media platform. In turn, some of the greatest freedom-seeking hearts and souls of our time have realized the true potential of what has been created and have come together to provide their insight and inspiration on CCN. Conscious Consumer Network has become a unique, interactive information and educational network which provides a free-to-view, live-stream, ultra-high-definition channel to the world and features 25 live shows a week and growing with the addition of multiple language broadcasts. CCN has features comparable with mainstream media, such as being able to pause and rewind broadcasts whilst being live streamed. Catch up on this or previous broadcasts, now available from CCN high-definition downloads. You can now purchase a high-definition download of your favorite CCN show from ethymarket.com. Support free and independent media by becoming a monthly pledger. This can be done with a monthly pledge of €10, which will allow you unlimited access to CCN's high-definition downloads, which hosts a back catalogue of over 250 shows, which have been aired since the launch of CCN on the 1st of January 2015. In order to keep CCN on the air, public funding is needed. Please donate to CCN's Network Support Fund or become a monthly pledger. Help keep alternative media in the hands of the people. We thank you for supporting free and independent media.